Hello everybody and welcome back to my channel. It's your girl Dk1original coming at you from the exact same location. I'm definitely shooting this still in my gym clothes because I don't know what to say really, but I thought the admin of changing, I'm probably gonna end up talking myself out of this anyway. Excuse my lighting. I don't know what changed in my room, but I always shoot here, but now all of a sudden there's shadows. And honestly, I don't know. I don't know. I can't explain it, but we move. Here we are. Right, so I'm blabbering because yeah. Anyway, to everybody that is new here on my channel, hello and welcome. My name is DK. To my returning subscribers, hello, welcome back. I love you guys so much. So last week I introduced the new series that I'm going to be doing, and I actually haven't really had time to even think of how I'm going to tackle it or which angle I'm coming at, but it's I don't know, I just felt like it's an important something to discuss and talk about on my channel, and it's definitely something that I thought I had done and then realized that actually, sis, you're not okay at all. All you're doing is pretending to be okay, which brings me to the title of this video, which is Pretentious Healing. And obviously even using the word healing very loosely in that regard, because basically just pretending to be healed, acting like you're fine when you are actually not fine. So I don't want this video to be too long, so I'm just gonna go straight into it. I'm gonna break this up into different parts. I'm not sure how long or how many parts I'm gonna break it up into, but because I don't want to give you guys really long videos, also because you guys don't watch to the end. I'm watching the watch time. But yeah, so for me personally, for a long time I used to do this. All my 20s I used to do this. I would go through a very traumatic event. I would go through something very intense that would break me, that would really just leave me shattered and leave me just in a mess, in shambles, and I would cry the one day, and then the next day I would pretend that I was fine. But I would really convince myself that I was fine, And I think, even the dangerous thing is that I'd even put scripture on it, I'd put biblical things on it. I'd be I just find all the biblical things, all the right things to say, biblically, but the whole point, and not to say that the word is not to say that the word is not in season, and not to say that God does not help you through those things, but the thing is, you need to work through it, but honestly, you need to work through it honestly. The word does not expire, and the word is always in season. And even the thing about healing is that it's recurring, and the word of God will not expire just because you're going back to something that happened that you're feeling again. You can just use the word of God again. That's why it's there, what it's there for, right? But for me personally, I would just okay, this didn't happen, I'll sweep it under the rug. Anyway, I don't like to drag other people into my videos, so I'm gonna focus on just me. I would just drag it, put it under the rug, just push it down and just be okay, fine, I'm fine. Would go to encounter, be oh yeah, forgiveness is immediate, all of that. And I mean, forgiveness is immediate because forgiveness is a choice that you make. But you still have to deal with the emotions that come after that, you make the decision to forgive because that sets you free, but you still need to deal with the traumas and the hurt and the every other thing that comes after the fact, So for a very long time, I would never deal with hurt in the way that it was meant to be dealt with. And you know, I remember this past, somebody mentioned to me the one time, and they were like, this past December you look so happy and everything. And you know what, in that moment I was, but only because I was ignoring what I had to deal with. I was not acknowledging what I had just come from. I was not acknowledging what was happening. I was not paying attention to anything. And you know what? It caught up to me. And in the next episode, I will speak about ways in which it caught up to me. Because it didn't all happen immediately. I ended up adopting some very unhealthy coping mechanisms in order to look like I'm doing okay. I ended up getting into some weird things. I ended up, you end up just doing really questionable things because you refuse to deal with the hurt and the trauma. And I had just, this afternoon I was running, I just had this thought that because for me, when everything was unraveling, I have a friend of mine who used this word on me and I got so hacked. But when I was unraveling, when all of this started coming out to me and I started realizing that actually, girl, you're not okay, I remember thinking to myself, because the thing about hurt and trauma and not dealing with things is that it never just manifests itself in one thing. You're always going to see it in other areas of your life too, and it's going to affect the people around you, whether you like it or not. Because if you are not okay, someone else is going to be hurt by your actions, because you're going to think you're fine, but you are not. It's like walking around with a bleeding wound. You're bleeding everywhere. Even though you think, I'm fine, I'll be fine. You're leaving blood everywhere. You are causing a mess everywhere you go. You are bleeding on every single person that you encounter because you're not dealing with this wound and you want to completely ignore it, right? And you're like, but I'm fine. But people are literally looking at you like, you're really not fine. And it starts affecting everything. It starts affecting your daily work. It starts affecting everything. So I remember thinking to myself, how did I get back here? A few months, weeks, I'm not even sure, where I was just feeling very deathy, just like the depression came back and I was just like in a really dark place and just like I felt like trash, and I started unraveling and I was just like, I was not okay. And I asked myself, how did I get back here? How did I get back here? Why do I feel like this? And you know what? I realized that, but sis, you never left. You've always been here. You just covered your eyes and pretended like everything was fine. You never left. You were in that space all along. And see, that's the thing about pretentious healing, is that you don't carry on. Because the thing about pain is that you cannot run away from pain. You cannot ignore pain. You cannot ignore the things that break you. You cannot ignore the things that hurt you, because pain changes you. Pain changes the way that you see things, changes the way that you deal with things. Pain changes you somehow, and you cannot ignore it. The only way to get over pain, the only way to work through your brokenness, is that you literally have to work through it. You literally have to work through it. And when the psalmist says that even though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, literally, even when it feels like death is all consuming all around you, the only way to escape is to walk through it. You cannot stick in the same place. You just cannot. You have to walk through it. And the difficult thing about pain, and the only way to deal with pain, is that you have to confront it. And you have to confront it head on. Which is not nice. Because a lot of the times, it means going back to that event or going back to that thing or remembering it. And a lot of the time it's not pleasant, it's not nice, because you have to re-feel the pain. But that's literally the only way that you can work through it, right? And it's painful. It's painful because you must relive it, but you can't ignore it. You have to pinpoint the certain areas, because otherwise it's gonna rear its head in other situations, in other relationships, whether it be friends, with family, or whatever. It's gonna rear its head. It's gonna come out like, hey, remember me? I'm the pain you've been ignoring. Whether it's rejection, you're gonna see it somewhere else. Whether it's that betrayal, you're gonna have trust issues. It's gonna rear its head in other places as well. So you always want to make sure that you deal with pain head on. You cannot ignore it. So like I was saying, you have to work through it. And I realized, as soon as I started working through everything, I realized that there was stuff that I was carrying around from like way back when. Things that I was like, oh no, it's not a big deal. Hey, auntie, it's a big deal way too. So if there's one thing about pain, you can't ignore it. You really, really can't. And the only way to move away from pain is for you to, first of all, have very honest conversation with yourself. When you see things that don't make you happy, or you see things that you see, this is not normal. Like, not being able to trust people it's not normal. Like when Njalo and you are suspicious, it's not normal. It's not. We weren't wired like that. Have you seen how kids are? We weren't wired like that. And the thing is, we take these traumas and we take these very, very real things and we normalize it. And you don't realize that there's actually nothing normal about this. There's nothing normal about being afraid to let your guard down. It comes from somewhere. There's nothing normal about having a fear of people. Why? What's how long? There's so many things that we normalize, and we need to realize that it's not normal. For example, myself, I deal with things humorously, So when I'm in peak mgo, I'm the funniest person alive, because I wanna mask, like, I hate being asked, how are you, when I'm going through something, because I'm always gonna say I'm fine, but it's like, it's not normal, the fact that you wanna isolate yourself when you're going through hectic things. Why? If you can, God made us as people of community, and God made us with other people to live with other people, to live in community, right? So every time when there's nothing wrong with wanting some time alone. It's really good. Me personally, myself, I like spending time by myself. But you need to ask yourself, Guti, why? Why do I retract? There's so many things, and in the next couple of weeks I'm also gonna delve into it and different ways that you can identify it. For example, I used to working not to, still do it sometimes, because of the rejection I've had to face in my life a lot of times. I fight this thought in my head all the time, right? Like, nobody likes me. Like, I don't truly believe, and I'm working through it. It's gonna get better. I don't truly believe that people like me. Like, even my friends. And I know they love me. I know they love me because they've said it. They've shown it in actions. But there's always this war at the back of my head that no, these people don't love you. They are tolerating you. That they're just tolerating you. That they're just putting up with you. You know? So a lot of the times, I end up being like, oh, okay, I don't want to bother somebody. You know, especially like if, let's say, you're my friend and I haven't heard from you in a long time, whatever, then I go, oh, you see, yeah, see, told you that person's not about you. Even though in my head, I know it's not true. Like, but somehow, I'll fully convince myself of it. You know, it's, oh man, it's just so many things. And it comes from, you know, constant rejection, constant, I tried and I wasn't good enough. I tried and it wasn't enough. I did this and this and it wasn't enough. I did this and this, and you know, but there's so many elements of it. But we're gonna get into it, and maybe I'll do like 2 more episodes on this, but just really talking about the reality of pretentious healing and what it means. But one thing I want to leave you guys with is this: don't pretend you are okay even when you are not okay. Deal with the pain regardless of how much it hurts. Confront those demons, confront those fears, confront it, and really look for why. What is it? Why do you find comfort in the things that you do? Why is it okay for you to deal with things the way that you do? You know, man, healing is hard work. And I think that's something that nobody ever tells you, is that healing is a lot of hard work. So, you know, even you as a person, always endeavor to be a better person, because, dear Lord, I don't ever want to be the reason. And I know I may be to some, and I'm so sorry, but I don't ever again in my life want to be the reason that somebody somewhere has to work through those things and have traumas and triggers, and because of me, oh no. So be kind always, be gentle in spirit, be gentle in how you approach people, be gentle in how you work with people. Just be gentle, you know. And for me, unfortunately, I had to learn to be a kind person by being at rock bottom. So yeah, all right. So if you have any questions about this, please leave it down in the comment section below. If you have any thoughts, if you have anything to say, please make sure that you interact in the comment section down below. Be sure to like this video if you liked it. If you didn't, also give it a thumbs down. That's interaction. Make sure that you share it with all your friends. Make sure that you follow me on all my socials, Dk1original, on all the platforms. Not all the platforms, relax. I'm on Twitter, I'm on Facebook, and I'm on Instagram. Those are the platforms where I'm most active. And if you have not yet done so, make sure that you are subscribed so that you also don't miss the next video that drops in this episode. Once again, I love you all so very much. Until next time, bye.